Hi, I'm Erin Brothers, Director of Music Ministry at Dixon United Methodist Church. Okay, let's talk about science. Though I found it fascinating, it was never my particular strength. In chemistry, we talked about states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, and everything in between. In physics, we talked about force, velocity, mass, density, and how one might affect the other. In physiology, we talked about the chemistry and physics of the human body. And yet there's so much we don't understand, and some things we probably never will. For instance, what is it that makes me, well, me? My thoughts, my emotions, my soul, my spirit? Me. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 36 through 44, Paul talks to the people of Corinth about resurrection after being questioned about how the body would come to be again after death and decay had claimed the flesh. I guess zombies aren't really a new and original idea. But Paul's response is a parable of sorts. When you put a seed into the ground, it doesn't come back to life unless it dies. What you put in the ground doesn't have the shape that it will have, but it's a bare grain of wheat or some other seed. God gives it the sort of shape that he chooses, and he gives each of the seeds its own shape. All flesh isn't alike. Humans have one kind of flesh, animals have another kind of flesh, birds have another kind of flesh, and fish have another kind. There are heavenly bodies and earthly bodies. The heavenly bodies have one kind of glory, and the earthly bodies have another kind of glory. The sun has one kind of glory, the moon has another kind of glory, and the stars have another kind of glory. But one star is different from another star in its glory. It's the same with the resurrection of the dead. A rotting body is put into the ground, but what is raised won't ever decay. It's degraded when it's put into the ground, but it's raised in glory. It's weak when it's put into the ground, but it's raised in power. It's physical body when it's put into the ground, but it's raised as a spiritual body. If there's a physical body, there's also a spiritual body. Now, on a list of things people try to avoid discussing, death and what comes after is pretty near the top. Patty Arro, a writer from Seattle, told a story on the Moth Radio Hour about avoiding having the talk with her kids. They had a 15-year-old dog, and Patty had a ritual. Going about once a month to the pet store to buy the biggest bag of organic lamb and rice senior dog food formula with glucosamine and chondroitin. When she got home with it, she would tell the dog, "You have to live until this bag of dog food is gone." All of this to avoid having to talk to her kids about death and where dogs go next. Aro is an atheist and was finding it hard to say something other than "we're all made of stardust." When the dog finally did pass at the obedient age of 16 and a half, Patty was honest. "I don't know," she told them. "Some people believe in heaven or reincarnation. I hope that all our atoms will mix with the other atoms in the world and create something or someone new." And that's a common theme for a lot of us, no matter our religious affiliation. The physical incarnations of our bodies are all we know. Some of us believe in heaven, pearly gates and golden streets, or simply a place where we will be reunited with the people we've lost before. Some of us believe that we will return to the mortal coil again and again to repay debts and be rewarded for goodnesses. And some of us just don't know. But God promises there is something more to us than a physical body, that when we are resurrected, it will be our spirits, our souls that reunite with God and with Christ. Paul doesn't go into detail about where we will end up during our reunification, just that it will be worth it. And what God intends to do with our spirits is beyond me. And no matter what shape that takes, whether God deems us worthy to send back to earth to try again, to make the world a better place, or God mingles our atoms with other atoms to make someone or something new, or we waltz through the pearly gates on gilded streets to see the friends and loved ones who went before, God promises us a new life in the Spirit. Award-winning American poet Li-Young Lee probably sums it up best for me, and with a little bit of flowery language. "The body is the spirit too. For me, there is no materiality to apparent materiality. In our bodies, 3 billion cells a minute are dying and being reborn. So our bodies look solid, but they aren't. How many minutes have just gone by, and how many cells have died and been reborn? We're like a fountain. A fountain of water looks solid, but you can put your fingers right through it. Our bodies look like things, but there's no thingness to them. We are forces of God.